Oh, I'm pregnant. I'm very, very pregnant. What is going on here? Let's just kill some of this smoke for a minute while we talk about what we're doing tonight. Right? So, we're going to be talking about a form of magic that I've never really seen talked about on YouTube before. It's very ancient, very powerful, very not for new people kind of magic. Okay? I'm joking. This is all a joke. But the form of magic that I'm talking about that I don't see a lot of witches talk about is incense magic. Okay, now back when I was just a wee little thing, okay, back in the old days, we're talking the 1950s at least, when I was at least in my mid-20s, okay? I mean, these days I'm in my mid-hundreds, but you know. So, back when I was a young thing, and the only thing that I had access to was a coal and smoke and herbs, right? So I only had, coal and some herbs and you gotta remember when you're working the magics, little sisters, you need to use what you have on hand. If all you have is a coal and some herbs, that's all you need. I don't understand this need for candles. I mean, we love our candles. I've got candles everywhere. I love to use candles. I love candle magic. It's easy, it's simple, it's effective. Sometimes you need to put a little bit of incense onto a coal and just watch the smoke and manipulate the smoke and just allow your intentions to manifest as you just pull from the smoke. And I like to conjure the spirits through the incense because you can see them come through, the way the smoke moves, the way it'll wrap around things, the way it'll wrap around a candle. And you can do divination through reading incense smoke, right? And you don't have to, when you're doing magics, you don't need to constantly be putting herb on your coal, right? It's fine if the smoke goes away a little bit, right? Like that's the outside world, so you need to not calm down, or wait, no, you need to not freak out. There we go. So it's totally fine if when you're doing magics, if the smoke goes away. It doesn't mean that you need to put more on there. It doesn't mean that your spirits aren't listening. It doesn't mean that you're not manifesting things. You just need to keep focusing on your intentions and keep, putting that out into the world. If you want to, you can put a little bit more incense onto the coal, but do keep in mind that you don't need to overwhelm the coal. You don't need to bury the coal in the incense, right? You just need a tiny pinch. And you're just manifesting and manifesting and manifesting that energy and just allowing the smoke to wrap around your arms and your hands and blessing you and cleansing you. Or maybe you're doing protection magics, or maybe you're cursing someone wicked and vile and nasty and evil and mean, and you want her or him to die in a pit of fire, right? So I tell you, and I'm gonna do a video on curses at some point, but when you're doing a curse, whether you're doing incense magic, whether you're doing candle magic, whether you're doing whatever, girl, you gotta go for the jugular. Okay, these bitches, they don't learn shit unless you go for the jugular. Right? So what can you do for incense magics? Because a lot of us will burn incense when we're doing our magics. Maybe we'll burn some lavender and rose if we're doing a love spell, or maybe we'll burn some bay leaves and some basil if we're doing a money spell. Maybe we'll burn some frankincense if we're doing a cleansing spell. And that helps and aids in the magic and sets the mood and the environment and all the fun stuff, right? But incense on its own, even just stick an incense like this, you can work magic with this. Even if all you have is a stick incense, girl, you can work all kinds of magic with that. Because manipulating the smoke, reading the smoke, understanding how the smoke moves is kind of magical in of itself, right? Like we're not I mean, yeah, there's a reason the smoke moves to one direction if you want to think about the physical reality of it all. But I mean, put your foot in the magic world for a minute, right? Like, look at this. Look at this. Isn't that just magical? And then you just kind of manipulate and just pull your hopes and dreams and desires out of the incense. I don't know many witches on YouTube who do incense-based magic. I know of some who do incense-based magic but don't talk about it. And I haven't done incense magic in forever. And I like to do the little hand motions because it feels like when I'm putting my intentions into something, it feels like I'm grabbing it and I'm manifesting it to reality. I'm just pulling it out of the ether and just being like, you're mine. I am creating you, right? So I want to do more videos on incense magic, but I'm not really sure particularly how. Because we've done tons of videos in the past on making incense and burning the incense and smelling the incense and experiencing the incense, and some of you have made the incense with me, right? But we've never really talked about incense magic and how you can do all kinds of things. You can curse somebody, right? You can make love happen, you can manifest a job, you can do divination, you can curse a bitch, you can do everything. Because it's really, at the end of the day, as much as I hate to say it, it really is all about your intentions, right? And the energy and the things that you're working with. Now, as you see throughout this video, I keep putting incense on here, but I'm putting a very tiny amount, right? And we're just feeling that power and the heat from the coal going into your hands, and then being able to use that energy, right? Like, that's fire energy, right? You're working with fire element, you're working with the air element, right? Like, right here, even right here on this little stick incense thing, you're working fire and air magic, right? Like, you're working with the elements of fire and air, right? And you don't need to have a coal, and you don't need to have a homemade incense. You can go to the dollar store and just buy stick incense and burn a couple of them, right? And do your magics that way, right? I want to talk more about incense magic, but I haven't done it in forever. I've made incense and I use incense in my magic, but I don't just use incense on its own as a magic. I'll have to play around more with it, you know? It's all part of the basics. It's all part of the basics. I mean, this is basic. This is as basic as you can get, okay? I mean, incense magic is probably the simplest and easiest thing that you can practice. Now, what if you can't burn incense? Or you can't have incense? Or people are allergic to incense or whatever? Then incense magic clearly is not for you, okay? And a lot of people will make sprays and whatnot. That's for cleansing and purification, right? Like, you need the smoke for the manifestation. That's the whole point of incense magics, okay? Anyways, I'm gonna go away and I'll talk to y'all later. So I did a video on incense magics while you hear the outside world. And this is one of the most simplest forms of magics you can do, okay? You take a little bit of your herbs that you've put together through your intentions and your correspondences and all that fun stuff, and you can burn them on a coal, or you can go to your dollar store and you can buy some of your favorite smelling incense. It doesn't have to be expensive incense, right? And as you're burning the incense, right, as you're putting a little bit, we'll put a pinch here on the coal, as you're putting a little bit on there, right, you're drawing the energy from the incense itself, you're manifesting, you're pulling your intentions, your will, your desire right through the smoke, right into reality. I also use incense to communicate with the spirits because they can manifest very easily through the incense smoke. I can call upon them, I can conjure them, right? Hope you learned.